What's going on, everybody? Spaceballs here. Welcome back to another Awaken Chaos era video. Alright, today we're going to talk about Guild Boss, or the Wood Guild Boss. I'm going to do all three of them. This week is Wood. I think next week is Fire, and then we'll talk about Water. So for today it's Wood, so we're stuck talking about Wood. And that means we're going to be using Fire units against it. I want to pull up the battle log so I can show you guys what the top players are using, or at least the top players in my guild, what they're using to get their high scores. Now, we did get a lot of inactive players recently, so I did a lot of, clearing out. We do have, I think, 6 or 7 spaces open, so if you guys are interested in joining Spaceland, hashtag 203, apply on Discord or message me on Discord. Let me know who you are. This way I know to accept you into the guild. We are looking for level 50 plus, but if you guys are active players and you're willing to put the grind in, then of course we can talk about it. But just apply on Discord and let me know. The first shout out I want to give to is Smoke. Smoke has been with me since, I can't even tell you guys, I think since Calibrio Crystal Guardians. This dude is a beast when it comes to these gacha games. He's always getting the top scores. I will tell you this though, to get a score like 1 million plus, you are going to have to manual the runs. I do not manual Guild Boss, I only auto. So my scores are never going to be as high as someone like Smokes that is manualing, at least one of the runs to get the million, and then you can auto the rest. I don't like to manual at all. You guys know that. Even Void Tower, I struggle because I don't want to manual it, and most of it you kind of have to manual because the AI in this game is just terrible. And the same is with Guild Boss. The AI is just not good enough. So if you want to get a million plus score, it really doesn't matter on the units that you use, more so of you actually just manually it instead of autoing it. But this is a 1 million plus team that you can use. Bran, Jacob. Jacob is so good for Guild Boss, let me tell you, because he gets a bunch of extra turns. Hector, another really good boss character. Great for Tulip Boss, great for the Wood Guild Boss. Just a really all-around good boss killer when it comes to Hector, because he puts up that 30% damage and he just does a ton of damage to bosses. And William is always going to be one of the best supports. It really doesn't matter what Guild Boss you're doing. And it just shows you here that Water is weak to Wood, yet William still works in the million plus team. And then when it comes to spells, I don't think it matters too much. Smoke uses the extra 50% attack and the defense down. I've seen people use all sorts of different spells, just different mixtures, and still get the million. I really think the most important thing is gear, having max gear plus 15 and actually sitting there and manualing it. Next up, this is actually Shrimp. He changed his name. He's also been with me for a very long time. I believe this is an auto team. I don't think this is manual. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't take me to the bank. But he's using Scarlet, my love. I love Scarlet. I've always used Scarlet in the Wood Guild Boss. I use her as much as I possibly can because I love her. And now that I pulled Balbrith, she's even better because he does extra damage based on debuffs. So I love pairing those two together, and I think he has the same idea here. Zitlin's also another really good character when it comes to Wood content. I know not everybody's going to have Zitlin. I have him, so I use him myself. He's really good for auto teams because he gives you that extra damage and allows you to get that level 25 chest without having to sit here and manual the fights. Light Evelyn is my dream. I wish I had Light Evelyn. She, again, is so good for so much content because she puts up those buffs before the round, and you can't strip the buffs or anything like that. I believe she puts up an attack and a defense buff at the beginning of the fight, and you can't strip them. I would love to get myself an Evelyn. She's so good, again, for Guild Boss and just long-term gear content. She's just very, very good when it comes to that stuff. So this is a perfect auto team. My team is very similar to this, actually. So next up on the list is actually me, and I'm using a very similar team to Shrimp. I'm using Bran, Zitlin, Scarlet, and Balbrith. I really like the Scarlet-Balbrith combo when it comes to Guild Boss. Just does a ton of damage. And then with Zitlin, and then you have Bran with the shield and the attack buff, defense buff. Zitlin with the curse, debuff, then Scarlet with all the bleeds, and Balbrith coming in there just smashing for the extra damage. It just works really, really good on auto, and that's what I'm all about, is being able to auto and not have to sit there and manual. I know I said that a bunch of times. I just hate manualing, so it's very, very important for me to have a team that can give me that level 25 chest without sitting there and doing it myself. And again, with the spells, we're just going for as much damage as possible, defense break and the attack buff. We don't care about heals or anything like that because once you get to the 9th or 10th round, heals aren't going to do anything for you anyways. So as long as your units are tanky enough to get there, doesn't matter. Having that heal buff is going to do nothing for you. Some people like to use the revive spell on this team because if Zitlin dies first, then he comes back, he'll put up the curse debuff and then die again. So that is another good spell you could use. But the heal spell, I definitely wouldn't use in Guild Boss. It's not worth it. It doesn't pay enough because by the time it becomes effective, the fight's basically over. Because once the Guild Boss starts doing that massive damage in that 10th, 11th, 12th round, there's no way to sustain it at that point. So there's really no point in, using the protection heal spell and all that great stuff. We'll look at a couple more teams down just to see what everybody else is using. So we have the Fire Org, Jacob again, Mathisa, and Hector. Number 5, we got Bran, William, Valerie, and Balbrith. Crows is using Bran, Hector, Zitlin, and Jacob. So one thing you guys will notice is that everybody's basically using this same DPS units just in a different combo. Or I guess depending on what they have in their box. But you can take from this that Hector, Jacob, Bran, Scarlet, Balbrith, and Valerie are top end units when it comes to the Wood Guild Boss. And all of these bottom teams that we're looking at, these are all auto teams. So you can easily auto the level 20 chest to level 25 chest just by throwing these units on your team. And yeah, as we scroll down, all the teams are basically the same, just different mix of the combo. Same idea, just a different version of the same team, basically. I feel like if you have Zitlin, of course, you're going to use him. If not, then you could just fill him in with something else that's going to do a ton of damage. I'm going to let this run for you guys twice on auto so you guys can see how the run looks. Of course, I'll speed it up so you don't have to, sit there for, 10, 15 minutes. Don't worry, I'll make it super fast for you guys. And as far as gear goes, your DPSs, of course, you want with as much DPS as possible. So Balbrith is going to be in a DPS set. Scarlet, you just want as much attack as you possibly can get on her. Zitlin, you're just going to need as much focus as possible. All C's there for is to land the curse buff. After that, it doesn't matter. He's not doing anything else on the team except for that. And Bran, of course, you're going to build as fast and tanky as possible. He's there for the shield, the attack, and the defense buff. Very, very easy team to build. Auto-friendly. So I'm going to let it run, and I'll see you guys at the end. Enjoy. Poof, we're back. I wanted to show you guys real quick my Scarlet before we run. If you can get a curse set on Scarlet, it's actually really good because of her A1 puts up a bleed. She doesn't necessarily need a curse set, but I did want to show you that I do have mine on a curse set, and it helps a lot. Puts up a ton of bleeds like you guys saw in those last couple of runs. Her bleeds were actually doing quite a significant amount of damage. If we can get more attack on her, they'll do even more damage because bleed scales off attack. So I want to try to get my Scarlet to about 5,000 plus attack. Right now she's only at 3,300, so we have a big window there. The thing with Scarlet is you do want to have the 85% focus, and then you also want to have, you know, as close to 5,000 attack as you possibly can get. Even in this build, she did fine, but I do want to get her closer to that 5,000 attack because I feel like she'll just do a lot more damage. Those bleeds will tick for her a lot more. And having the curse set is good because, again, it's just more bleeds. Anything that has a debuff on their A1, always good to put in a curse set. Santa's, for example, great to have in a curse set because if she hits with her A1, she's going to put up another debuff, which is poison. Scarlet is the exact same thing. If she's getting a curse proc, she can put up another bleed. Other than that, your DPS, whether it's Balbrith or Valerie, just put as much DPS stats on as you possibly can. Curse set doesn't really matter too much. It just really stats over sets at that point. I'll show you real quick my Balbrith gear and the overall stats just so you guys can see. Crit rate's really low. I need to get this crit rate up. I do like the crit damage and attack though, but crit rate's way too low. We definitely want this at 70 to 80%. But hey, it works. Like you guys saw, it did the trick just fine. And if you're going to use Valerie in his place, that's fine. She'll do basically the exact same thing. Most people that don't have Balbrith, they don't use Scarlet though, because Scarlet's really good with Balbrith because of the debuff thing. But if you don't have Balbrith, you could probably change Scarlet out. I love Scarlet. Before I was using Scarlet, I was using Cyrus in her place, and she was working great too. It really just depends on what you have 6-starred and fire units you have in your box currently. If you're lucky enough to have Zitlin, nothing matters on him except for focus. As long as he has that 75% focus, nothing else matters, I promise. His gear can literally be not even leveled up +3. It doesn't matter. Just make sure he has 85% focus to land his curse debuff. And Brand, most of you guys are already going to have built pretty tanky. Just make sure he's tanky, has enough speed that he's moving first, so he puts up the attack buff and the defense buff. Other than that, I want to hear what you guys have to say. What is your Wood Guild Boss team? Are you getting 1,000,000+ damage? Do you manual? Do you auto? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, so comment down below and let me know what you're thinking. Thank you guys so much for the support here on YouTube. We are so close to 5,000 subs. Once we reach it, we'll start another sub celebration. If you guys want to follow me on Twitch and Discord, those are always linked down below. We do 2 monthly giveaways on Discord, random giveaways on Twitch. If you want to be a part of the random giveaway that we do here on YouTube, all you do is sub to the channel, like and comment on my past 10 videos, and that will automatically enter you into the random giveaway. I truly do love each and every single one of you. I will see you in the next one. Spaceballs out. Peace.